so although I've sort of put this video together from the perspective of like a single income family, these tips will probably apply to the majority of people, because with what's happening with the cost of living at the moment, we could all do with probably saving a little bit of money. Right, okay, so my first tip is to create a budget. If you know what you've got coming in and what you've got going out, it's a lot easier to manage your money. You have to know. It's raining. You have to know what's coming in and going out. Now, I've done like a couple of budgeting videos before, but if you'd like me to go through it again, let me know down in the comments, because I'm happy to talk about it. Budgeting and knowing exactly where our money is going is the only way that we're able to stay on top of it, as they've only really got one income coming in. My next tip is to get rid of any subscriptions that you don't need. So at one point we had like Netflix, Disney and Amazon Prime, Kindle Unlimited. Kind of like, it's not the best subscription service, but we got rid of the majority of it and just kept the Amazon Prime because... Pajamas. Oh, baby girl's pajamas, thank you. Because we use the Prime and then you get like free books through the Amazon Prime, and you get Amazon Prime TV as well. So we got rid of like Netflix and Disney and Kindle Unlimited. I got rid of my gym membership. Well, I didn't. I used to get free gym membership because I worked in a gym, but when I left there to stay home to look after Baby Bell, I didn't renew my gym membership, so I just do my workouts from home. What else have we got rid of? Like we swapped out, we changed from one TV package to another because we don't watch a huge amount of TV, and paying like, oh, noisy, paying like £100 a month or whatever it is for the TV when we could get it a lot cheaper was just ridiculous. So have a look at your subscriptions, get rid of ones that you're not using, because it's so easy just to forget that they're in there and they just go out month after month after month. The next one I've got is to meal plan, bulk buy where you can, batch cook and cook from scratch, because it just makes it so much easier. It makes it easier when you go shopping, you know exactly what you need to buy, you don't have anywhere near as much food waste, you don't get to like Friday and be like, oh, I don't know what we're going to have to dinner today, let's just order a takeaway, which we are guilty of sometimes. At the moment we're a lot more on top of it. We've done a lot of like meal planning, done a lot of batch cooking, so we know what we're doing. And cooking from scratch as well, it's so much cheaper, and because it's all like fresh stuff, you actually feel better as well. So then, because you get nutrients, so then you're more inclined to actually do the meal planning and that. It's so easy to fall back out of it again, but once you can get into like a routine of it, it is pretty good. My next one is cook at home instead of eating out. Now I know that it is really, really nice to eat out, and you know, it's nice as a treat sometimes, but if you can cut down on the amount of times that you do it, because again, it's one of those things, it's really easy to think, oh, we'll just pop out for lunch or we'll just pop out for dinner. But if you do decide to go out for something to eat, find one of the places where kids eat free. Baby Bell's not at the age yet where we would order her a kids meal, because she wouldn't eat all of it, she just has a bit off of our plates. But we were somewhere a couple of weeks ago, are you okay? We were somewhere a couple of weeks ago, and I think it was like £8 or something for a kids meal. So if you can go to the places where they do it for free, a couple of quid saved there. And my next tip is minimise food waste. Now this kind of links in with the one I was saying about cooking from scratch and meal planning and everything. Food is really expensive at the moment. I don't understand how it's gone from what it was to what it is now, like in the space of less than a year. And obviously if you're wasting food, it's kind of heartbreaking. Like if you look in the fridge and you've got a packet of chicken that's gone out of date because you've not used it up yet, and a packet of chicken's like £6, and it's like, oh my goodness. Knowing what you've got and what you need to cook and what you're going to cook minimises that. And also like having organisation in your fridge as well, because again, it's really, really easy like to have stuff pushed at the back of the fridge, and then once your fridge gets into an organised mess, you've got no idea what's going on. Oh, that might just be us. Cook vegetarian where possible. Now I'm not saying like you just have to give up meat completely if you don't want to do that, but things like lentils and beans and all of that sort of stuff are so much cheaper, and you can actually make some pretty decent meals. I've made a couple the last few weeks that are like completely vegetarian, and they've been really nice. Like even John's been eating them, and even like the corn and other meat substitute products are cheaper. Okay. Are cheaper than meat these days. Like I can remember when I first became a vegetarian, like the meat substitute stuff was really, really expensive and wasn't that great. There's a lot of stuff now that tastes great, and it's a lot cheaper than meat. So like meatless Mondays, if you can do that, or you know, meatless lunches in the week. And what I'm going to do is I'll try and put a video together of like some of the dishes we've been having. I've been sort of sharing them over on like TikTok and stuff, but I'll put together a full video with it, with all the recipe and stuff in, just to give you guys some ideas if you need any. My next one is like a real trial and error thing, and I've got switch from branded stuff to non-branded stuff. Now we've done this, we've been doing this over like the last year or so, I think, and switching out the branded food that we used for like supermarket stuff and going to Aldi, because we were really bad, like we would just buy branded stuff, and there are some things that are non-negotiable. So we recently found out in the last couple of weeks that we are definitely not swapping out our Nescafe Gold Roast for the Aldi version, because it's not a fair swap. We can't swap out ketchup for the cheaper brand because we can't find a cheaper brand that we like. They're not great, so we have to stick with Heinz on that. But we've swapped out so many other things. We've swapped out like our butter, squash. There's so many different things that we've been swapping out that, again, if it's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments, and I can put together like some information of what we've swapped out, and like our recommendation of like what you definitely can't get away with swapping out. Right, so my next tip, I have got make your own coffee instead of buying when you're out. Now it kind of seems like it's kind of obvious, but it's so easy when you're out just to think, oh yeah, I'll go and grab myself a coffee while I'm sitting at soft play or whatever. But what I tend to do is I make my own coffee, so invest in like a decent leak-proof travel mug. For me, I don't find that to be a sacrifice, because I'm really particular with my coffee, and I actually prefer coffee that I've made myself or John's made me, rather than from a coffee shop, because they're either too strong or they're too sickly or whatever. That for me, it's not a sacrifice. But I bought a coffee while I was out the other day, and it was £4.70 for a small coffee, and it wasn't even very nice. My next tip is to cut back on energy use. Now, some people in this house are not great at switching off the lights and the TV and stuff behind them. Obviously I've got a 2-year-old as well, so she will just like switch. She can switch lights on, she can switch the TV on and off, she can switch the radio on and off. So switching stuff off when you leave the room, like that's, for me, that's quite a big one. Like I will always switch the TV off, I'll switch the lights off and stuff when I leave, but John doesn't always. And also switching stuff off at night time as well. Now I don't know how much stuff uses when it's on standby, but I know it still uses electricity. So, and if it's on like 24 hours a day, that probably adds up quite a bit over the years. If you don't have to use a tumble dryer, don't use a tumble dryer. Like, they're like really expensive. And also swap into like energy efficient light bulbs as well. I'm pretty sure that all the light bulbs that we've got in this house are now energy efficient ones, so if they do get left on, it isn't too bad. And also sort of turning the thermostat down just by 1 degree. We've done that. So we used to have it set at, I think it was 20 during the day, and we've turned it down to 19 now, and we just have to put like extra jumpers on. Like this one's really thick. It's actually quite a bit nicer today than it has been for the last few days. Yesterday was freezing. My next tip is sell items you don't need. So I've actually got a pile here that I'm sorting out of Baby Belle's old stuff. I haven't sold any of Baby Belle's clothes or anything from when she was a newborn. I've also got a load of my stuff as well, so I'm a little bit fatter than I used to be. I can't fit in that stuff, but I've also got a terrible habit, not anymore because I can't afford to, buying clothes and then they don't fit me, or I don't like them as much, or they're not comfortable, or I forget about them, and then they just get shoved in the wardrobe. And I found like £400 worth, I think it was, of unused clothes which still had the labels on. So I've been slowly selling stuff on Vinted, and actually made a decent amount of money so far. It doesn't have to be limited to just clothes as well. Like we've got a lot of stuff in this house. When we were a 2-income family, we were actually quite comfortably off, so we would just buy stuff kind of without even thinking about it. And there's a lot of stuff that can be sold in this house, and I'm slowly working my way through selling stuff and also donating it as well. I have donated quite a bit. So my next one is, this is probably like one of the only ones I think of as a sacrifice, and it's do your own hair, nails, lashes, whatever that you can do, if you can do them. Now I couldn't do my own hair, I wouldn't be able to do my own lashes, and I can't be bothered to do my own nails. So I don't really have them done. Like I've had my hair done like once in a year. Occasionally I might paint my nails, and I just put mascara on. And I've seen some lashes that I want to try. They're like the ones that you stick underneath your lashes and they're meant to last for a week. I'm going to give those a go. But if you can do it yourself and you have got the patience and the abilities, then you can probably save quite a bit of money. Now again, before we had Baby Bell and we were both earning, you know, like working loads and earning a decent amount of money, I would have my hair highlighted like every 6 weeks. I'd have fingernails done, eyelashes done, toenails done. I don't do any of that anymore. That's probably saved about £300 a month. I don't know how much it saved, but I tend to just walk around looking like this rather than actually putting any effort into getting sort of like glammed up these days. So for me, that is a bit of a sacrifice, but it's not going to be forever, so I can deal with it for now. The next one I've got is use makeup and skincare dupes. Like I'm not talking like rip-offs that you buy from eBay for £1 or whatever, but I have always used Urban Decay setting spray. I'm just looking there over there, and that one is not cheap, so I've swapped it for, I think it's Elf. I'm just gonna have to have a look. It's not, it's NYX. I always get those mixed up for some reason. I swapped it for this NYX one, which is quite a bit cheaper, and I actually prefer it. It's actually really, really good. So I've always had quite greasy skin, and without using a setting spray, my makeup just disappears after sort of like 2 minutes. So that's a good one. Another one I've swapped as well is, I used to use Dermalogica Microfoliant face wash. I've swapped that for a CeraVe one, which is not the same. It's definitely not anywhere near as, like, I don't like the feel of it as much, but I couldn't justify spending £60 on a face wash, even though it would last me like 6 months when this one's £12. I've swapped quite a few out, and if anyone is interested in what I've done, let me know, because I don't really do any like beauty and skincare content, but I have managed to save quite a bit of money, so let me know in the comments. The next one I've got, and this one is quite a difficult one, but try and put aside money for an emergency fund so that you don't have to rely on credit cards or payday loans, which are absolutely horrendous and shouldn't even be allowed. And it's really, really difficult. But if you can skim off a couple of quid here and there to put into an emergency fund, so then when something breaks or you need to urgently replace something, you've actually got the money there and you're not having to put it on credit, because then the interest on that can be absolutely awful. Next, I've got find free entertainment. So I take Baby Bell to the library. We do quite a bit at the library. She does like toddler rhyme time, there's like play sessions and stuff like that, and there are loads of other things as well. I've recently seen a free like mum and toddler play session kind of thing, which we're going to have a look at, that's in our local area. And I'm sure there's loads of other stuff. Like I take Baby Bell obviously to the park. We've got a free soft play near us as well, which we go to quite often. In the summer we get like a lot of like fun days where you don't actually have to go and pay for any of the entertainment, so they have like kids discos outside, or we went to an emergency services day out as well, which that was all free. So we try and find as much free entertainment as possible, and then like we'll go and do stuff like picnics and that sort of thing, because so then all we're having to pay for is the food, which we're going to need to eat anyway. My next one I've got is take advantage of rewards programs. So pretty much like every supermarket now does a rewards program. We've been using Sainsbury's Nectar for years because we buy our stuff on there. You get like double or whatever points if you shop on your credit card, which we do, and then we pay it off at the end of each month so we don't build up any credit card debt. So we've been using Nectar for ages, and then we just use that to buy our Christmas food shopping, which there's normally like more than we need, so that's good. And then we can use it towards like when we did Baby Bell's birthday party, we bought a lot of the food. I don't know what's going on with my hair. We bought a lot of the food using the Nectar card. And there's also things like quid codes for when you buy like pretty much anything. You buy stuff online and you go through quid code and you get cash back on that. And again, I've been doing that for years as well, and it, depending on obviously how much you buy, it does build up quite quickly, and then you've just got cash that you can take out. And then obviously you've got like Tesco Club card, Asda do a rewards thing now, Boots Advantage card, Superdrug do one too. So if you shop in any of those places, it's definitely worth having those reward schemes, because although it might take a while to build up, at one point you're going to look at your balance and be like, oh, I've got 50 quid, that's awesome, I can buy this and it's actually not going to cost me anything. So my next one is if I have another child, I think I'm going to do this because we haven't done it with Baby Bell. Now that I'm aware of how many we get through, I'm definitely going to attempt this if we do have another child, and that is use reusable nappies and wipes. So not only is it really expensive to buy 2.5 years worth of nappies, Baby Bell's potty trained during the day now, so we don't have to buy as many nappies, but potty learning, sorry, potty learning, not potty training. We don't have to buy as many nappies now, but it's really expensive, and plus like the amount of guilt that I felt about putting these nappies into landfill. Like the wipes are not as bad because they're biodegradable, but nappies take a long time to break down, and you don't realise until you actually have a baby how many nappies you get through. And I think like although there's an initial outlay of however much it is, I've not looked into the cost recently, you definitely save that probably in like the first 2 months, I should imagine. Then my next one of course, make your own cleaning products. Now I'm not talking about going out and making a full-on cleaning product, I wouldn't have a clue how to do that, but a lot of stuff that I clean in here, I use like bicarbonate soda or vinegar. I clean all of my glass with vinegar. If we get any spillages anywhere, I'll use vinegar and bicarbonate soda for that. Vinegar in the washing machine, vinegar in the dishwasher, and it's really, really cheap. Bicarbonate soda, it's not expensive either, and you get a lot out of it. And the next one I've got is DIY as much as you can. Now this is quite funny because you can pretty much DIY everything, and I know I mentioned it was like your nails and stuff, so we do try and DIY where we can as much as possible. Like we're currently decorating like the hallway and like just touching up bits in the house because we want to sell it in the not too distant future, so we've been doing that ourselves. Like we did all the decorations for Baby Bell's birthday ourselves. I made the cake, which I've not done before, okay, had a go with that. There's so many things that we're attempting to DIY, and some of it's a disaster. Like some of it, I just look at it and think, oh my goodness. But some of it comes out really, really well, and it is so much cheaper. I can't remember what else we've DIY'd. One thing we're not going to try and DIY though is fitting the hallway carpet. We're going to get someone to come in and do that because I think that could just go horrendously wrong. My next one is walk where you can instead of driving. We're quite lucky. You want to sit down? We're quite lucky in the fact that I live within like, it's just over a mile, I think, to the city centre. So we're lucky in that we can walk there when it's not pouring with rain. And we do try and walk, so we try and like, if we go to the park, we try and walk, if we go into soft play or whatever. So we try and walk as much as possible because obviously it's saving money on petrol. And again, fuel is another thing that's just ridiculously expensive these days. And it's good for me, it's good for Baby Bell as well, gets us out, fresh air, burning off some energy, doing some exercise. Both of us sleep a lot better when we've been out for a nice long walk. I don't know what she's doing now. The next thing I've got is toy rotation. So we're a little bit unorganised with the toy rotation at the moment, and it's another thing that I need to get under control. There are still a few bits that I'll take out of rotation and then put back in a couple of months' time. And to Baby Bell, it's like having a whole new toy or a whole new set of toys. She probably remembers that she has them before, but she hasn't played with them for ages. So it's actually like having new toys, and it just means it's kind of easier to keep this area over here, which is where all the toys are, under control. I say that it's not under control at all at the moment, but if all of her toys are out, it would be a complete disaster. So toy rotation is great. It just means that you don't actually have to keep buying new toys. And my last thing is use the library instead of buying books, and that's for you and your child. We read quite a lot in this house. Baby Bell's got quite a lot of books that people have bought for her over the years, because when we say don't buy toys, they buy her books instead. But instead of buying her new ones, we've been taking advantage of the libraries, because we read so much, we end up reading like the same book twice a week, even though she's got hundreds of them. So I forgot about the library. I used to use the library loads when I was younger, and then I had my Kindle Unlimited. And again, and because I've got rid of Kindle Unlimited, I'm like, So we've been going to the library and taking books out, and yeah, great. Again, it's like having a whole new book. And I think you can take something stupid like 30 books out, octopus, 30 books out at a time and keep them for 4 weeks. So it's a crab, is it? Oh. So yeah, I'm being distracted again. Always happens when I try and film with Baby Bell's here. But guys, as usual, really hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, don't forget to leave us a like and a comment and hit that subscribe button. Makes us really happy, lets YouTube know the videos are shared to other people. We'll see you next time.